Right, so I've been trying to find out how to do a wood effect paint job on my doors. I did it 20 years ago and I forgot how to do it. There's a technique to it. It's not difficult, but it's just remembering what the steps are. So eventually I figured it out. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I went on YouTube looking for information about this, and there's hardly anything tell you how to do a wood effect paint job. Anyway, here we go. So I started off with, to do a mahogany, I started off with a colour that's like a light burgundy, almost like a brick red, but not quite. It's more pinkish than a brick red. But any sort of paint, virtually this colour will act as a base coat. Again, it's a water-based emulsion. Vinyl silk, this one is. A vinyl silk or matte will work fine. Gloss won't work. It won't work as well. You need something with a slight keyed surface for the glaze to take hold of. Now the glaze is the trick. This is the thing I couldn't figure out. But here it is. For a start, it has to be an oil-based paint. Well, I would say it has to be an oil-based paint to get the paint effect right. So I started with this, which was gloss chestnut, which is a really dark brown to get your grain effect. I used it, but it was too shiny. It made it look really artificial. But not only that, I have to varnish over the top of that. Will the varnish take on a gloss surface? Issues with that. Anyway, so the next door, I used this paint. But you could use, as I say, you can use any gloss paint, but go for a gloss paint that's going to have, it's either a, go for any oil-based paint that's either a dark brown. It can be a walnut stain. It can be a mahogany. It can be a walnut stain. It can be a mahogany varnish. It can be a mid-brown paint if you're wanting a walnut effect. No, sorry, dark brown paint. But again, oil-based, silk, or matte finish to it. So then you take the paint, put it in a kettle or a pot of some sort, mix it nearly 50-50 with paint and white spirit. Now the trick is to get it so you've only got some of this paint on the tip of your brush. You don't need a lot. I've probably got too much here because it's been sitting in here. Try and shake some of it out. Right, so what we do now is we go over this, and you don't need to do strokes, you just need to apply it first. To start with, you just need to get application done. There we go. Now, get your brush dried out a little bit. As I say, if you just done the tip, you wouldn't need to dry out the brush. This brush is too heavily loaded with paint. Now you stroke it out. Stroke it all the way up and down. Go past so you get a feathered edge at the end of your area you've painted. You don't have to paint huge areas all in one go, as long as you feather the ends, then it won't look so obvious. Now, that looks a bit dark, maybe we'll say. So to lighten it up, you get a totally dry brush and you stroke that out. Dry the brush on a rag, stroke it again. Dry the brush again, stroke it again. And just do that until you get the desired level of wood grain effect that you want. Each time you do this, of course, because you're stroking, because you're dabbing the paintbrush, you're taking paint off. I think I'll call that a day there. Putting a knot hole? No, I don't like a knot hole. Do that. There we go. Now, the other thing to be aware of is this stuff's going to stay tacky for maybe a whole day. The white spirit in the oil base really makes it a slow drying coating. But that works to your advantage, because if you go away from the paint and you see later on, oh, there's a bit of dust or something falling on the paint. Again, with the dry brush, just take it out and then stroke it out again, just light feather strokes. And you'll be able to do that for at least 2-3 hours after you, well, maybe 2 hours after the paint's, after the glaze coat's been put on. By the way, I didn't make it clear. This is called the base coat, and this graining effect is called the glaze coat. And repeat again, water-based silk or matte, oil-based matte or silk. Eggshell would be perfect actually, because after I'm finished with this and it's all totally dried off, I'll go over it with an oil-based varnish. Now it can, because it's a varnish, I could have it gloss, but that looks hell of a natural. I've tried it before, and as I say, I tried it on one door and it didn't look right. Or an eggshell's perfect. A silk will work. A matte, especially on high traffic doors, I wouldn't put a matte on a door that's got high traffic, because it's going to take grubby finger marks, emulsions off your fingers onto the door, and it will wear through the varnish fairly quickly. And so again, there's my paint kettle with the almost 50-50 mix of paint and white spirit. That's the specialized paint I used for that effect, but you could get away with just using this. But as I say, this was a gloss. I wish to hell I'd bought something that was silk or eggshell, but I didn't see anything like that on the shelf. But you do get it, because I've seen it. When I Google it, I can find it. But when I was in B&Q, I just couldn't find a dark brown that wasn't a gloss. Still, live and learn, live and learn. Anyway, hope that helps.